Hi everyone, it's Kate from the Fold Line. I am back this week with the Sew Down. This is our monthly roundup of interesting things from all over, stuff from the sewing world, interesting indie designers, things to read, things to listen to, things to watch that we thought that you guys would find interesting. As we're all home a little bit more, understatement of the century. I hope everyone is doing all right. I know the last time I did this was like a month ago. I don't know about you, but I feel like I've sort of settled into lockdown life now. It's just sort of, yeah, it feels almost normal. I hope everyone is doing all right. I know lots of people are having a really tough time, so just, yeah, hope you're doing okay. Before I get going, I had a lot of questions in the last video about, I mentioned that I'd got a dog and could I have her in the video. Unfortunately, she is out on a dog walk at the moment, but I will pop some pictures in of her. She is called Edie and she's a miniature wire hair dachshund, so a sausage dog. Yeah, it's been an adventure over 2 months, let's just say that. She's very sweet, but holy moly, having a puppy is like putting a bomb in your house. Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of months, but I feel like we're sort of getting each other now. But yeah, so there's some pictures of her for those asking. Right, I'm going to get cracking. I've got some good stuff to talk to you through. So to start with, stuff that I've been sewing, nothing. I haven't said anything. I'm sorry, I usually talk about something that I've made. No, I've actually cut out some stuff for a quilt, but that hasn't even been started, so anyway. I've got some indie designers that I usually talk about, a couple of designers that either you haven't seen or stuff that's new on our website. The first one is Fibre Mood. Now I have mentioned them before. They are a pattern magazine and they release them every few months, and yeah, kind of, I think about 4 a year they release. Their latest one is just out. It's actually just sold out on the site. I've ordered some more, so they are coming. But we're also selling their individual patterns now. So if you have seen a pattern from one of the magazines that you really liked, one of the older magazines that you really like, they're available to buy as single PDF patterns. So yeah, you can go, I will pop up some pictures. You can go and have a look at those because it's really exciting. They've got really beautiful designs. Yeah, and definitely worth having a look at. So yeah, we're really excited. They're kind of, because there are so many of them, we're uploading them in batches. So we've got quite a few on there and there'll be more coming over the next few weeks as well. The other designer that we've got is one that I'm sure many of you will have heard of. She's she's been going for quite a long time. Hey June Handmade. She has just, yeah, we've just got her patterns on the site. She's got about 20 or 30 patterns. All really nice, kind of really wearable everyday items that you want in your life. Her new pattern, which I'll pop a picture of the Greer jumpsuit, which I thought is perfect for lockdown life. It's really nice for summer, which we're heading into. It also is really simple to make for those of us who don't have a lot of concentration at the moment. And yeah, I think they're a really lovely option for spring and summer. But yeah, she's got loads of really fab patterns, so go, if you haven't heard of her before, go and have a look, because there's some, I'm sure there's something in there that you'll find interesting and exciting. I've got a couple of sort of community things. The first one is Closetcase Patterns. Heather, which I thought was such a fantastic idea when we all went into lockdown craziness, created this list of sewing stockists from around the globe. It's a Google Drive list, and I'll pop a link to everything I talk about down below. If you're looking to see whether a company near you is shipping and what their situation and how they're dealing with all the COVID crisis, it's definitely worth going to have a look at. I thought it was a really good idea and really nice thing for the community. Before I get on to the next thing, I should just say this. If you can hear some squeaking, I'm really sorry. My next door neighbour's daughter has just got a brand new paddling pool and she is pretty much having the time of her life out there. I was going to go and ask whether she could be quiet for 20 minutes while I film this, but do you know what? It's having such a nice time. I just thought, I'm sure you guys don't mind. So if you can hear some squealing and squeaking in the background, it's her out there having a party in her paddling pool. Yeah, so that's what it is. Next up on the community side, I've got a community challenge, which is a really interesting and like fun one, and a really good idea. So we got an email this week from Isabella, who's organising it, and it's the hashtag it's on Instagram, Rainbow Sewing 2020, and this is in support of the LGBTQ. God, does anyone out? My dyslexia, I can't do that many letters together. Community, because basically in June is Pride Month, and there'll be I think most of the Pride kind of things will be cancelled this year, which is such a shame. But this is a really lovely online kind of Insta challenge, and all you need to do is make something or wear something that are the colours of the rainbow, take a picture of yourself and use the hashtag. And I thought that would be a really lovely thing to get involved with in June, as we're nearly in June, can you believe it? Yeah, so I'll pop a link again, links to everything will be below, and definitely worth getting involved with that. Next up, I've got something completely random, but it's so cute and sweet, I thought I would include it. Anyone who has a little bit of extra time in their hands and they want to do something creative, there is a place in London called the Wildlife Drawing Company, and they do drawing classes with live animals. So they bring them into into the space that you book on, and they have, so many different types of things. Rachel's actually gone and done one of these. They have miniature pigs, rainforest animals, they have rescue animals, little Easter bunnies, you can do parrots. It's insane. And what they're doing, because obviously at the moment everything is on lockdown, they've got online kind of life drawing classes, and you make a donation which go to charity, and you can then join the live drawing class and draw something. So if you feel like you want to draw something but you're looking for a little bit of inspiration or to push yourself, it's a really nice way, and some of them are free as well, so it's definitely worth going and checking out, and I'll pop a link to the website because I thought it was a really lovely idea. Rachel forwarded it to me and said if I'm getting bored, I'm not, but yeah, it's a really nice thing I thought I'd share. Next up, I've got a little something to read. It's an article that I found that I thought you would find, well, I just loved it and I thought I just wanted to share it. So Stanley Tucci, who I basically adore and have the biggest crush on in my life, he is just a wonderful man. He has written an article for The Atlantic called Cooking Your Way Through the Pandemic, and he writes so beautifully. It's a really lovely article. Anyone who's in lockdown with a family, I think you'll really enjoy this, because it's all about how you can't escape and you have these like tiny little pockets of your house where there's no one else, and you're so delighted to find them. And yeah, and he's got there's recipes in there, and it's really good. I think you should, if you're feeling like you're having a bit of I know that at the moment everyone is having sort of up days and down days. If you're having a down day, actually even if you're having an up day, because you'll just go and read this, it's really great. Right, TV. So I got onto a bit of I've become quite obsessed with certain things, and then I go on a bit of a binge, but I thought I would share some of the things that I've watched. I'm sure some of you have already seen them. They're definitely worth revisiting. I'd watched a couple of these and I went back and rewatched, and they really inspired me. So if you're feeling like you're in a bit of a sewing inspiration funk, these are the things to go and watch. So the first one is Advanced Style. I'm sure this was out in, quite a few, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. It's amazing documentary about older women with amazing style, and it sounds, I'm not describing it, it's these amazing women who've had these really fascinating lives, and you go into their homes and you see their collection, and they're so chic and over the top and amazing. it is really wonderful documentary, and I watched it again and really remembered how much I loved it. You can watch this on Amazon. It's really fab. If you haven't watched it, you have to go and watch it. You'll love it. It's just, for everyone who's ever watched this has really enjoyed it. It's fab. Then I started going down a fashion sort of, I don't know, little obsession. So the next thing I then watched was Dior and I, which is fab. If you haven't seen this, it's amazing. So you see all about, you see all behind the scenes of the couture house in Dior. It's fab, and it's when the new designer starts and he's quite young, and like the women who've worked in the couture house for ages, you can see them being like, oh, here we go, he's a bit young for doing this. And it's a really lovely story, and it shows him from, I think he had 8 weeks to get his first collection out, so it's from his initial designs to the couture show. It's fab. It's really inspiring. I just think it's amazing. Definitely go and watch it. Then after that, I watched the McQueen documentary on Netflix. This was really interesting. It's really sad. Obviously, he committed suicide, and that definitely taints the end of it, and it's important to talk about. But it's how he kind of got to where he got to, and the talking heads on it are amazing. They've got really interesting people, and it's really well produced, so I would highly recommend that. If you're feeling a little bit down in the dumps, maybe save this for an up day, because the end is really sad, but it's a really amazing documentary, so I definitely would, if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. Then I got into, the next thing I then watched was, and this is not a documentary, it's a sort of dramatisation, but it's really good, the assassination of Gianni Versace. This is on Netflix, and I would say The Last, and McQueen is on Netflix as well. This is really good. It's a sort of 6-part series, really interesting. I had no idea. I sort of knew a bit about what had happened, but it was really good to watch, so I really liked that. And actually my boyfriend watched it with me, and he did quite enjoy it, so it's not just, you could definitely get your partner involved too, watching this. So that was the next thing I watched. So a little kind of fashion chunk, if you're feeling like you need a bit of inspiration, those were really enjoyable. This morning, which I've just started watching, I haven't watched it all, is a really amazing curator tour of the exhibition at the V&A called Quixote to Catwalk, about the kimono. There's 5 videos, and they're not very long, they're all about 6 or 7 minutes, but really interesting to sort of show you the exhibition. So for those of us culture vultures who are really missing going and seeing something, this is really good and definitely worth checking. I've watched half of them, so I'm going to watch the other half at the end of the day. That is it for sort of videos. In terms of stuff to listen to, I've got 3 things I think to talk to you about. Podcasts. First one, sewing one. I'm sure many of you know about this already, but the new Craft House have got a podcast. It did take me quite a long time to find out where I could listen to it, but it is on Spotify, so go and have a listen there. The first episode is up, and it's an introduction to Hannah and Rosie, talking about how they met, and I think it will be really nice. I definitely think it's nice to have, especially at the moment where there's a bit more time, it's nice to kind of have a new podcast to listen to, especially a sewing one. So that was really good. I've listened to the first one, and it's great. And I think they're going to be talking to lots of different people over the coming series. So new sewing podcast, fab. Last Sewdown, wow. I spoke about Normal People on BBC, and I'm sure a lot of you have already watched it or have gone and watched it, and it's fab. I just wanted to draw your attention. I've spoken about this podcast before, How to Fail with Elizabeth Day. She has interviewed Daisy Edgar Jones, who is the main character, or the female lead in Normal People. It's a really fab episode. She's got a really nice voice, and it was just nice to listen to her and hear all about it. And it's really, yeah, she speaks really well. Obviously she's an actress, but yeah, it was a really interesting interview, and I think you guys would definitely enjoy it too. Last podcast, which I'm sure again quite a lot of you have been listening to, but I just wanted to draw your attention if you haven't watched it. It's Grounded with Louis Theroux. This is a podcast series that he's done specifically for lockdown, and he interviews different people. So he's got, who did he have? So this week was Lenny Henry, he said Helena Bonham Carter, Boy George, who was the first person? John Ronson, and he's also, which is hilarious, done an ultimate mix of songs for your kitchen rave. Just go and listen to that. I just didn't realise that he was so into rap. It's quite hilarious, but yeah, that's thrown in the mix. But yeah, they're really interesting, obviously, because he's a fantastic interviewer, and they're definitely worth going and having a listen to if you haven't. So that is it for me. If anyone has got any fantastic podcasts or good book recommendations, or let's just share what you've been reading or found interesting down below, because it's nice to discover new stuff and yeah, kind of carry on the conversation down in the comments. Have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back soon with another video. Bye!